morning. I can't tell you how happy I am to be back. Or maybe I am telling you how happy I am to be back. COVID didn't get me. Something that I never expected did. I had calcium subcutaneously in my arm for 60 years. Who knew until I read the literature that it could actually mobilize, dissolve, and cause a problem? Well, I've had surgery on it. It's fine now. It's in the healing process. And I'll probably have toned arms afterwards, just like somebody who's in their 50s. So, yes, it was hard for me to go through. Now that I'm at the other end of the spectrum and I'm on the mend, God, it's a pleasure to speak to everyone again. And I don't want to be picking apart anybody, any politics, any people. All I want is for us to think about ourselves, our future, and our present. Where are we now? Everyone's saying to us, oh my, we can reintegrate into society just like that. And how many of us are really ready to reintegrate? Not a whole bunch. It's hard at every single level after having lived in isolation. Plus, we've got the Delta variant to worry about. And I'll find out the latest information on Saturday when I listen to TWIV and then share it with you on the clinician's latest update on what he knows will be happening to protect us from the variant. Every time somebody is unvaccinated, they're a breeding place for that virus. So, truthfully, vaccinated folks cannot afford to be with unvaccinated folks without our mask. It's law of the odds. In Israel, they've noticed 521 cases. 40 of them are breakout and serious, and it's happening among the vaccinated and the unvaccinated folks. So we don't know what our genetic makeup consists of. We don't know how effective our antibodies will be against this new variant. So be cautious. They may say everything's opening up, but we know as a people that if there's danger, we've got to take protections, whether or not anyone agrees with us. And certainly, folks who are 69 and older have to be safe. That's why they're looking at 2-year-olds for the vaccine. Because as the elderly population becomes vaccinated, and perhaps we will need a booster shot, then younger and younger people are winding up with the virus. And then those people have to be protected. The sooner, the better. And then we can integrate in society the way we've always wanted to be, with hugs and family and friends. And work, because work is really important. If it were up to me, I'd mandate the vaccination. It's a necessity that we all have it, and we're all protected. And it's the only way to keep the virus from infecting others. There is no other way. It's all about the science. But let's talk politics. What are the good things? There's going to be a global minimum tax of 15%. I'm convinced the G20 countries are going to sign on. So no more race to the bottom for the multinationals. No siree. And all of our countries where they do business they will pay a tax to that country. And I think that's a win-win. More revenue for all of us. No reason the lower and middle classes have to fund all of our programs. As a patient, I learned from a young nurse's aide. She loves Georgia and she intends to go back. And I asked her if they had Medicaid and Medicaid expansion there. And she said, no, they don't. That you're on your own in Georgia. They didn't have Medicaid and they didn't have Medicaid expansion. Well, I think the federal government has to have an owner's manual for all the money that they're giving out to the states. The states don't allocate for Medicaid, and it's like, forget about Medicaid expansion. They're not giving people a living wage, and we need a federal living wage of a minimum of $10.10 if everyone's going to sign off on it. It certainly beats $2.56 or $7.25. What's that? That's no money. People can't afford homes, rentals, food, drugs, medications. And when I mean drugs, I'm not meaning illegal drugs. I'm meaning medication for your illnesses. So we need a living wage. Country can afford it, and we can raise the taxes. Corporation taxes go to 28%. We got the money. We increase the minimum that you pay in for the payroll deduction tax. No problem. We got the money. So there's no excuse. Everyone from nothing to 1 billion can pay into the payroll deduction tax. And then we never have to worry about Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. It's available, folks. And that's what we need, is a social safety net for the lower and middle classes. God knows we've given it to the uber wealthy and to the fossil fuel industry and to big agri. And what are we getting back? We're getting back heat waves that we can't live with, flooding that we can't live with, drought that nobody can live with, loss of water resources that doesn't support life. Australia thinks 1 billion species of fish have been affected in the latest heat up of our planet. So we can't afford to be non-social, non-scientific, non-planning about tomorrow. We've got to plan for our future because the future is here. Chicago is actually looking like Miami. With the waters raising, they don't know if they're going to have floods that are going to force sewage into the streets or they're going to have drought. They never know from one year to the next which extreme they're going to battle. And Chicago is built on stilts. So we don't have time for thinking about problems that don't include our lives, how to save them, and how to make sure that we really do thrive and that our kids and our grandkids are going to be just fine. That's all we got time to concentrate on. And when we do it, we will be providing jobs for the future and for the present to absorb all of the labor who is sitting on the sidelines and can't get hired, doesn't like to be working for zero pay. Taking away benefits is not the answer. giving folks an owner's manual in the States. That is, you tell them how you want that money spent. When I was at Ford Motor Company and we devised plans for upgrading our paint shop, we gave folks an owner's manual. Every single product, and there were 300, were integrated into our system. But nobody had to guess about how to use those products. There was a listing of every single product, how to use it, when to use it, and what it consisted of. Well, when the federal government gives out bucks, they got to do the same thing. Evidently, rental assistance money has been out there over $46 billion. And because the states don't know how to set up the systems to utilize the money and help the people, only 1.5 billion of that has been tapped. It's so bad that New York State and New York City just now instituted a hotline for folks to contact so that they can be put on rental assistance. And it's not just rental assistance, it's utilities, I think, and Wi-Fi as well. So take advantage of that money and ask all your legislators and all your governments in every state in the union, how do you tap into rental assistance now before the expiration date of July 30th so that you are not homeless, God forbid, or have to leave your home? No excuse. If the states can't think about how to spend the money, well, then there's got to be an owner's manual for them, just like we had at Ford. And this way, they'll know exactly how to spend the money and set up the systems so that people don't need the stress of wondering what happens next. Good ideas are good ideas as long as they get to us and they translate into action. Good ideas alone are merely good intentions. And we know what happens with intentions. Good intentions pave the way to hell. We don't want that. We want the good life. And the good life is being made available to us. Let's try and grab that brass ring and add whatever we need to add to make our lives better. Don't worry about what was. Live in the present and think about our future and our children and our children's children. Well, this is my first time back, and if you want to write comments to me, I'd be more than happy to answer. I already have 250 on my YouTube, and I've decided, okay, I'm going to answer probably 10 a day beginning now. And if you wish to comment on my YouTube at any time, you can, and I will listen to what you have to say, because our society needs help in many ways. And I think Americans are creative enough to give it the help we need. Certainly science hasn't stopped. God bless those who've been working on mRNAs for a vaccine for 40 years. It's a proven technology. And those who were on the front lines, making sure that we all had the medication and the food that we needed to survive. Now we need all to take a deep breath and figure out the best way to re-enter society. Don't be upset if it's not something that's immediate for you. This has been a very trying, physically and emotional, isolating period. But we can do it. We're Americans, and we have that can-do spirit. Working together, anything is possible. So, God bless you. I don't think anyone's or anything's gonna get me again. So, I'll see you next week. And I look forward to talking with all of you, my dear followers. And thank you from my heart for all of your well wishes. I'm back and can't keep a good woman down, as they say. God bless and have a lovely day. Bye now.